Hello and welcome to Real Chats with Real Student Athletes. I'm mental performance coach for Ashley Davis, and here with me today I have Maeve Riehman, and she is a Division I field hockey player at Rider University. So thanks so much for joining us today, Maeve. And before we get to speak with Maeve and get into some of the questions that we have, just want to introduce Maeve. So Maeve started playing field hockey when she was in 5th grade, and around 8th grade, she started travel field hockey. That's where her coaches and teammates started to help her get recruited to play college, and that led her to choose Rider. At Rider, she's been able to contribute on the midfield and defensive lines all 3 years, and in her sophomore year, she was fortunate to start every game as a right back. Although the games were limited due to COVID, she only allowed 1 goal in 6 games. During her sophomore year, she went on to win the NEC championship and participate in the NCAA tournament. This past year, she started again on the defensive line, mostly as a sweeper, and helped finish with an 11-7 record and a semifinal round at the NEC tournament. So that is Maeve, and we're so happy that she joined us today. So we're going to just jump right in to some of the questions. So the people that are watching are able to understand kind of what mental performance coaching is, how we worked with the team this preseason. So obviously, as stated in your bio, you're coming into this season, which you had just ended, but you're coming into the 2021 season, coming off an NEC championship in 2020. And Coach Husong scheduled 2 mental performance sessions during the preseason with me. So what's going through your head when coach says, hey, we have 2 meetings with mental performance coach Brett Ashley Davis, and it's on your schedule?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because we never really have done it before. But I thought it was a great idea to bring something new into the team. You know, like we had really great success last year, but there's always room to improve. So I think that was really good idea on coach's part, but I really didn't know what I was kind of walking into. I kind of thought it was going to be more of like a mental health thing where like we do like, because athletes have a lot like to worry about and stuff. So I kind of thought it was going to be like mental health, but really it was about like helping us with field hockey, and even it helps like with your everyday life, but just like if you're like feeling down by yourself in field hockey, it gives you a way to positive self-talk and like get yourself out of it, even during the game or during practice. So that was like really cool to learn about more.
Yeah, no, and I think just before we got on, you and I were just chatting real quick before this segment, just about the fact of student athletes, or really any student coming into college, really not understanding mental performance coach or mental performance skills coach. And I think this is where, the passion for me to do these videos and to bring more information to students. So when I'm talking about mental performance, I can use these videos and say, hey, why don't you go check out Maeve's a video and her talking about how she's used mental performance, and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. So I really love that all the athletes at Rider are ready to jump on board and provide some information for other student athletes. So I fully believe in having something to go to when you need something to go to. It's a vital component every athlete should have in their mental performance toolbox. Can you share to me your something to go to with student athletes that they might not understand what we mean by having something to go to?
Yeah, so during our sessions we talked about this, and it's it's kind of a personalized thing. It kind of like brings you back to the moment and everything during a game or a practice. My something to go to is just like looking one of my teammates in the eye and just saying, you got it, like keep going. I'm very close with the goalkeeper on our team. And both of us, before the game start, before all the quarters, I put my hand on her shoulder, hit her helmet, and I'm like, we're good, we got it. Like, even though if we're losing, if we're winning, it's just something that I go to know that I'm good and I know what I'm gonna do. And it's, I have all the tools to like play well and do like fix the little things and fix what coach has been saying to win the game. And then I'm ready to go.
Yeah. No, and I gave you the questions beforehand, and I love reading what you had put in, because I think it's really important to have, and I think you stated in that the trust that you have in each other to back each other up. And I think trust goes a long way, and that trigger for trust, right, is you hitting her on the helmet or putting her, pat her on the shoulder and saying those four simple words, right? We can do this. Like, and that's all it takes. And that's kind of your trigger to kind of get you back into the game, get you back focused, where you are in the present moment, whether, like you said, winning or losing. What can we do better now? What's our next best move, within the next quarter that we're going to go into. So I love that. I love that you have something to go to. I love that it's a trigger for you. And it really kind of just brings you back into that present moment focus, because we really can't dwell on what's going to happen, 5 minutes from now, and what happened the last 5 minutes. All we can really do is take a little about information from the future, take a little bit of information from the past, but really all we need to do is live in that present moment. So I love that. I love that you guys have that bond, and are able to lean on each other and use those words as we can do this, to trigger yourselves to get back into the mental, the component of being in the present.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think the trust part goes for even like if someone's coming in and they're usually not the starter or they're not getting as many minutes, and some as a junior, some of them like ask me a lot of questions in practice, and me coming up to them and just saying like, hey, you got it, like looking in their eyes, like they know that they can do it too. It's kind of like a transfer of confidence that I try to put into my teammates.
And I love that you just use the word confidence. And I think a lot of athletes struggle with lacking confidence. And there's two things that come to mind when I hear an athlete say that. When they say I'm lacking confidence, I ask them, okay, well, what's your preparation? What have you prepared yourself up to this moment? Because a lot of confidence comes from preparation. But then also confidence comes from acting confident. Like, you can't be confident unless you act it out. And I think that's a huge, I guess, breaking point, or like, taking it to the next level is just start acting confident and confidence will come. And I think that's where people, and especially athletes, but anybody really is you need to act it in order to become it. Don't wait for it to hit you. You go at it and be confident, and then the confidence will follow. So I love that you said that you, when people are coming into the game, you are right there, and you're a leader, you're a captain, correct?
No,
I thought you were, okay. But you are a strong leader, you're a silent leader, and you are able to do those things on and off the field. And for students or for athletes coming onto the field and looking for you to say, hey, we got this, I mean, that speaks volumes. So doing that for yourself and doing that for others is really helpful. Has anything changed with the team after your 2 sessions working with me during the preseason? And any tools that you women or ladies are still using for maybe pre or post game routines?
I think after we had our sessions, a lot of the girls were, including myself, were able to evaluate ourselves a little bit better. Just as an overall, like looking at ourselves, how we go about fixing a mistake during a game, or just getting back into it after a mistake. And even as you said, preparation, like we were able to evaluate how to prepare for a game, say on the bus, like, go over some film or just write down some affirmations. The whole team was able to evaluate and then perform and then reevaluate at the end. It kind of gave us like a guide, because I really didn't know how to do that, honest. And then so that helped me, but it also helped us with having the trigger that you talked about. A lot of us in the huddle before a game, we would say, use your trigger, it's go time kind of thing. It was like a team-wide thing, and we always do a cheer together, and that's part of our trigger that we do as a team.
Yeah, I love that. And two key two key components that we can talk about right now and kind of just unfold what you just went over. And I think it's really important is the trigger, but also the evaluating and then reevaluating. I think that's, what gets measured gets done. So if you're not measuring anything throughout your performance, you don't know what to work on. You don't know what you're doing well that you need to continue doing well. Maybe there's some things that you need to do better, but what are they and how are you going to do them? So evaluating yourself after the game. I know on a couple bus rides, I was speaking with another one of your players, and I think it was Tess, and she was showing me the notes that you guys were taking about how to do your well, better, how, or a start, stop, continue. And that's all part of the process. And I love that you said process, because when we're focused on a process and we're just taking it one step at a time, that's when we see results. And another part of your process, and we can go in a little bit more depth, is the trigger. So can you, I know that's one of the tools in the mental performance toolbox. Can you just go into a little bit more about the trigger and then like that physical component?
Yeah, so you told us in our sessions, like triggers are they can be for yourself, they can be for the group. It's something that it's like an instant thing that where you're ready to go. It's like it could be a snap, it could be like 2 claps. Usually I take one big jump and then I like a little jump in place. Some people slap their shin guards. It's kind of like, and then in your meetings we also did, you say check in and we say all in. It's like you're always ready for the next step, and you're anticipating you're anticipating like the surprise of what's going to be next. So it triggers you to be ready for that. It prepares you to be ready for what's next, even though you don't know it.
Right. And I love that, having that trigger, because there's a lot of things that go on the field, right? It's fast play. You guys are go, go, go. Plays can switch in a second. So when something happens, maybe the other team scores a goal, or maybe you have a penalty or whatever it is. There's a moment in time where you may start to have bad body language. You might start having some negative self-talk. Your focus is really not on the next best thing. Maybe it's dwelling on what just happened. So that trigger, like you said, like your trigger is a big jump and a little jump. So that's to kind of, you recognize that you're having maybe, the bad body language, the negative self-talk, and you're just focused on the wrong things at that time, maybe something in the past, or maybe looking ahead too far. So that jump and that double jump that you do kind of resets it at that point. And let's go back to getting into good body language, maybe a tall chest, standing up tall, big body language, positive self-talk. We can do this. Let's do this. Next best thing. Where are we at? And then kind of taking all those good things and putting them right in the front of your brain to say, we're ready to take on, instead of harping on the past. It's really about, what's important now, what's important next. And I think that trigger is something that we all need. Everybody needs a trigger to kind of get us back in that present moment focus. And I love that you ladies are using the trigger. And in the huddle before the game, I'm glad that you ladies are saying, hey, remember your trigger. Use your trigger. It's a tool to use. And it's definitely a tool to use in the performance stage of mental performance. So what's one of your favorite maybe stories or YouTubes that gets you pumped up for practice or a meet? And I always mention practices too, because being an elite student athlete means bringing the energy to each and every time that you're about to perform, and you're performing in practice too. So, doing it in practice and practicing your energy levels will then just continue into that performance stage. So, is there something that you want to share with the audience of maybe something that gets you pumped up?
Yeah, I like to think about just the whole day of when we won the championship in this past spring. It just is like there's no feeling that you can mimic like when waking up on championship day. Like I kind of described it in your questions as Christmas morning, but it's kind of like you're excited, but you don't know what's coming. You want to know what's coming. You want to do well, and you're excited for your team. You're excited your friends to watch you. It's like just waking up, being a part of it is like one of the best things, and then winning it is completely different but amazing at the same time. So it's kind of like I remember how it feels to get there, and how it feels to work so hard and achieve what you want to. So it just keeps me motivated to try it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think yeah, when we're talking on it as a mental performance aspect, we call it like mind movies. Like, what's your mind movie?
Yeah.
And that's definitely like a pre-game routine that you all can use or do use, and really looking at that mental picture of you guys, hosting, hoisting the trophy. I love that picture of you guys. I know I used it in our workshop, and I just had it up on the screen the entire time. And I made a comment. I asked how many of you have this printed out and like hanging in your room or on the back of your phone or on your computer screen. And not many of you did at that time, but I'm sure a lot of you said, hey, if this can help me and put me into that mental performance positive light, then that's what I'm going to do. So I love that you have that mental imagery of waking up on championship day, going out, what those feelings feel like, excitement, your parents watching, your friends watching you, cheering you on, going out, like suiting up for that day. All those things are really a good routine for you to have before every game. So you just feel that level of energy and you just bring that excitement to every game. Because like you said, you don't know what's going to happen, and you can't really ever be prepared for exactly what will happen, but you can bring the energy because you can control your energy levels, which I think is awesome. Well, Maeve, I just want to thank you so much. I think that the information that you brought today is so valuable, and I hope other athletes can learn from you and learn from this conversation that mental performance coaching and mental performance skills, honing into them and being aware of them doesn't mean you're weak. It really means that you are a strong individual, and bringing awareness to the things and the behaviors and the routines that you're doing that can just bring you to that next level, right? That next elite level. And that's what we're all striving to do, is be better. And especially as a student athlete, you're striving for the championship, you're striving for those big wins, but we got to take the little steps in order to get there. And I think you women on this team, you guys have a great culture. You ladies are really a strong team, strong leadership. And when we were in those sessions, you ladies were locked in, ready to learn, ready to just absorb everything and be able to use it. And it just pumps me up because I'm so excited that you guys are excited to learn more and do more and just continue to be stronger and use mental components in the physical component of the game, which I think is so vital. So Maeve, I just want to thank you so much. Do you have any last words that you want to share with maybe any athletes that are watching these that are maybe haven't done mental performance yet, but are on the border of wanting to?
Yeah, I think these mental performance things really, even if you're not more of like a mental, like really like evaluator or just like kind of person, just it gives you a lot of tools to fall back on. It gives you like even just a healthy lifestyle. Like every day you can do your affirmations, you can do your positive self-talk. It's a healthy lifestyle kind of thing. It's not just it's for the game, but it also helps you outside of the game. And it's not, yeah, like you said, it's not something that makes you weak. It's something that supports you.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And let's just talk. I know you just brought it up, and I love positive affirmations. Can you just talk about a little bit more about the positive affirmations? Is it something you do daily? What kind of statements are they? Do you share them with people? Do you say them to yourself out loud?
I don't do them personally, but it's kind of, you talked about in our meetings how it's kind of like, it's like one or two sentences, you use an ing word, like I'm going to be great, which is like a really simple one, but
Mhm. Yeah.
you can do like 3, you can do 2, you can do 5, you can do it every day. You gave us that of the reference of the journal that like kind of outline, you can like outline it in a journal. There's journals that help you with that.
Mhm.
And you don't, they're just for yourself.
Mhm.
You know, you can read them out loud. You can say them to yourself in the mirror. Um, just something for yourself to reflect on and kind of speak to yourself.
Yeah. And I think when kind of going back when I was talking about self-confidence or having confidence, um, those self affirmations or those positive affirmations is what's going to change you from lacking confidence to having confidence, because when you're talking about the affirmations, and like you said, it's a true statement that's going to start with I am or I have. It's going to include an ing word, so an action word, and it's going to include a feeling. um, so once you put all those together, and you create your positive affirmation, you got to believe it. And believing it is just saying it over and over and over again on a daily basis. Maybe set a reminder on your phone, download some apps. There's the I Am app. It's a great app. It'll send you daily reminders, daily affirmations on and you can set it up to be, 3 times a day, 10 times a day, whatever you want. But I think that's the difference between confidence and lacking self-confidence. You have to be able to tell your brain who you want to be, and how you want to be. And I think those really do speak to confidence, is those positive affirmations on a daily basis. So thank you for bringing that up and sharing that, because I totally forgot to mention that, but it definitely is a key component in the mental performance game. So
Yeah.
thank you again. Well, Maeve, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time this morning. I really appreciate you opening up and being vulnerable and talking to other athletes just about the mental performance aspect, and being able to share, examples, what your team is doing, what you're doing as an individual. And I think that'll speak volumes to other people. So thank you again.
Thanks for having me.